In the turbulent years following the American Civil War, a single family, dubbed the Loomis Gang, ran one of the largest criminal syndicates in America, menacing and controlling much of central New York State. Though largely unheard of by modern audiences, for people of the time, they were notorious. That same era, rife with lawlessness, corruption, and violence, gave rise to multiple terrorist organizations comprised of militant segregationists. The most infamous of these, known as the Knights of the Golden Circle, was rumored to have in excess of 100,000 members, though not a single person has ever been conclusively proven to belong. Ours is a tale of an obscure traveling sideshow, whose fate it was to chance upon these dangerous entities.
This week marks an anniversary for me. For a full year now, I've labored with this menagerie, I suppose you could call us. This band of curiosities. Some call us a traveling sideshow, and others, well, they call us all manner of colorful names. But who are we exactly? Well, I've found that every time I try to put my finger on who we are, every time I try to define us, we change personnel. A definitive label remains elusive. Mr. Silas Yoram could be thought of as the foreman of sorts. Without him, we as a group simply would not exist. He not only arranges for our performances, but more importantly, he pays our wages. Though there have certainly been recurrent lapses in that regard. And he's quite the entrepreneur, Mr. Yoram. His greatest claim to fame is his wondrous tonic he synthesizes. Whatever you suffer from, chances are his elixir will cure it. Or so he asserts. Oh, and of course we have Ms. Edna Therese. She poses as Mr. Yoram's lawful wife, though rumor has it their marriage is not sanctioned in the eyes of the Lord. I will say this, though. Edna certainly has her admirers. I mean, it comes as no surprise. She's a very handsome woman. But they just seem to appear wherever we are, rain or shine, day or night. Men just come sniffing around like prairie wolves circling a henhouse. Oh, she's not unguarded, not by any means. Though it may appear so at first. No, Mr. Yoram keeps a very close watch. He always seems to find them out, these hopeful paramours, and then loudly raises Cain. Why, he becomes downright apoplectic and threatening all manner of injury. Believe me, I've seen it played out repeatedly. Eventually, he calms down, and they share a drink. And he explains that the sanctity of his marriage had been violated, and that such a moral deficiency should be revealed to the man's wife or fiancée. And by the end of the night, well, money changes hands, and we leave town with everyone's reputation intact. In terms of the visual arts, we have a true genius in our midst. Henri is his name. Henri Auguste Chavois, and I proudly call him a friend. The best of friends. And a trusted confidant.
The most successful painters are those who produce portraits of their patrons, not as they truly appear, but as they flatter themselves to look. Skillful interplay between light and shade, a thin layer of lime wash, some strategic blending here and there. Artistic license, we call it. Which harms no one and rewards profitably.
And lest I forget, Clarence. Clarence is a free man, a freed man. He received his education at the contraband camp in Alexandria. Bully for him, I say. Bully for him. Before the war, they'd have strung him up for seeking to better his lot, along with whomever provided his education. When Clarence is not grooming and tending to the horses, most of his hours are spent cooking and cleaning for us. Credit given where due, Clarence is very inventive and makes even the most gamey of creatures, how shall I say, palatable? Though there's only so much one can do with the rankest of beasts. For example, I, for one, do not find vermin appetizing. But moving on. Essentially, we boast a rotating crew who join up in different locales and then drop off again at will, or when Mr. Yoram tells them to. To wit, let me introduce our newest member, Miss Elizabeth Ratcher, who hails from the northern region of the great state of New York. Hers is a sad yet inspirational tale of a widowed father whose life was cut short by the notorious blackguard Wheeler Loomis of the disreputable family of outlaws. Elizabeth played a heroic role in the traumatic event, but I do an injustice by speaking on her behalf. It's best you hear it firsthand, as she relays it.
I was aged 18 at the time. My sister Molly was 20. Wise beyond her years and as good a person as you'll ever know. Molly was to be married within a fortnight. Her good man was out of town and nuptials were underway. I was awoken by our horses that night. Like everyone, we'd had problems with the occasional bushwolf, but this was different. The way the horses fussed, I could tell something was amiss. From the window, I caught sight of several men carrying lanterns. They opened our barn door, quickly slipped inside, and emerged not long after with our geldings, which they then rode off with. I left the room to awaken my father, but when we returned, we discovered a man there. He held a lantern and was leaning over my sister. Father immediately lunged at him. The lantern fell to the floor, creating an eerie scene, like a bad nightmare. As they punched and swore, another man appeared and bang! Shot my father down. I remember blood splattering the wall and Father's nightshirt turning red. It was then the one Father had been grappling with snatched Molly. She bravely fought, but he was brutish and not to be denied. He threw her to the ground and kicked her in the face. She lay still, knocked unconscious. That's when they ran out, leaving me, my dying father, Molly, and the blood. My poor widowed father, his eyes fluttered and his voice quivered. I'd never seen him like that. All our life he'd been so strong. He told me to fetch a doctor and send others after the men. I was afraid, but I did as I was told. The men had left our oldest mare in the barn. So I mounted her and off we went, fast as she could gallop. The moon was bright enough to see by. The wind on my face made my tears sting. Upon reaching the peace officers, I told them Father was laying in my room bleeding, that they'd hurt Molly, maybe even killed her. Dr. Holcomb tried to console me. He offered me a place to stay, but I said no. We had to get back right away. When we arrived home, the house was aflame. The barn reduced to smoldering ash, but Father and Molly had escaped the fire. Father had somehow managed to drag the two of them outside. Molly crawled on the ground, but was unable to speak, as her jaw had been broken. Dr. Holcomb did the Lord's work that night. He pulled a bullet from Father's shoulder and sewed him up, right there in the field. He also did what he could for Molly, but only God works miracles. For weeks, she suffered in torturous agony, her shoulder and arms horribly scarred. She'll remain disfigured forever. When her fiancé returned home to claim his betrothed, like all of us, he was bent on bringing the Loomises to justice. We knew it was them. Thereabouts, whenever crime occurs, it always leads back to the Loomises. The evil they've wrought, everyone is under their dominion. 'Tis nothing less than a reign of terror. The law can't touch them. They own the law. And they're firmly established. Having operated for so many years now, they made their fortune stealing horses and selling them to the Union Army, then re-stealing them and reselling them. With the profits, they bought people, the law, judges, anyone they needed. Those who won't be bought, like my father, are eventually eliminated. Soon afterwards, that deplorable monster Wheeler Loomis savagely raped a girl, an imbecile girl. So the townsfolk took the matter into their own hands. Father included, a half-dozen men rode out ready to string him up. Of course, he'd caught wind they were coming, so he up and left for Canada, or so the rumor had it. A fortnight went by when the post finally came. They discovered Wheeler Loomis hadn't settled in Canada after all, but had taken up with a widowed woman near Waterton. He was rustling cattle and buying off local lawmen and judges, just like he'd always done. He wasn't in hiding, just the opposite. He was expanding their sinister operations further than ever before. Then the litter ceased altogether. Some men from town grew worried and rode off, coming back about 2 weeks later with the news that father and the other men who were with him were dead. Wheeler Loomis had got to them first.
One way or another, Elizabeth found her way here. Mr. Yoram brought her on as a seamstress, but she also assists with preparing victuals and washing garments and purchasing sundries as needed. Henri immediately took her under his wing. From the outset, there seemed to be a familiarity between the two, and on more than one occasion, I have observed them engaged in intimate conversation. So, did I adequately address who we are? No? Well, I'm afraid it'll have to suffice for now. And in case you're wondering what it is I do, I'm a jack of all trades, I suppose, and a master of none.
One-horse towns off the beaten path, each distinguishable by name alone, and all carry the same stench. I gaze out and am met by the same eyes. I listen only to hear the same mundane comments. The yokels are so predictable. As their mouths move, I yearn to finish their rudimentary sentences. But I let them play themselves out, like fish upon a line. Exactly as I'd done the last wretched town, and will do again in the days ahead.
Good evening, fine people. It's so refreshing to be home. I say home because I'm a son of these parts, born and raised just a stone's throw from here. I look out at this handsome, fetching crowd, and I see a congregation, much like that which helped make me the man I am today. And why have I returned? Simply to share of my good fortune. I present to you, dear friends, a restorative elixir that God Himself has seen fit to create. That's right, God Himself, as the esteemed Father Fredere can attest. So important is this discovery, so in keeping with God's wish that man be healthy, that the good Father here travels with us by his own volition, asking nothing more than to vouch for the truth of what I say. Thank you, Father. You may be seated. Believe me, friends, as the Lord guides me across this great nation of ours, I meet my share of humanity. And not a day goes by without people, good people, just like yourselves, seeking me out. And you know what they do? They thank me for introducing them to this wondrous tonic. But what exactly, some of you may ask, does this elixir cure? What doesn't it cure? I tell you, this pick-me-up is so restorative that it might be looked upon as veritable holy water. That wouldn't be blasphemous to say, given its truly regenerative attributes, would it, Father?
Certainly not. Indeed, I...
Thank you, Father. You may be seated. Truly, the hidden singular hallmark of this delicious cordial is that I have captured the secret to life itself and bottled it all up for you and you and you. What else could I do? We all have our calling in life, and mine is to give back to the people who mean so much to me. I'm not normally given to maudlin sentiments, but, well, we're family. I discover that with good health comes improved circumstances, quite naturally. And what is a natural byproduct of amended conditions? Dignity. Dignity. And that, friends, is nutrition to a rejuvenated life. I am here to tell you that with deliberate focus and this stalwart bottle as steady companion, even the most downtrodden among you may realize life anew. Inside of 6 months, you'll look back and not even recognize the beleaguered existence you endure today. As if that alone was not sufficient, the bottle is conveniently sized so as to allow for unobtrusive stowage in a lounge jacket or Sunday best, even a dainty petticoat. Long-term and frequent use serves as antidote to dropsy. It can cure consumption, croup, and diphtheria. Short term, I have seen it remedy everything from diarrhea and dysentery to what the fancy doctors call bilious colic. Are there any doctors in the house? No? Good. Who needs them, doctors? They use all those fancy words and never come right out and say what's ailing you. Am I right? But I can't do that. Not my style. I'm a man of the people, a plain talker. Admittedly, I am not skilled in the use of highfalutin medical terms, but I'm hoping you'll forgive me that shortcoming. Can you forgive me for not talking down to you folks? Can you forgive me my humble origins? Like I said, I once roamed these very plains as a boy, just like that young'un over there, all snot-nosed and precocious. And now, fully grown, I have returned to give back to the place that gave me so much. It's cured every digestive conundrum known to man, this miracle libation, and purified even the most stubborn of blood ailments. But I don't want you to take my word for it, and I wouldn't expect you to. This is why I have brought with me a man of the cloth, the Honorable Father Freder. Thank you, Father. You may be seated. I will say it now as I stand here on stage before an agent of the Almighty himself, with each of you bearing witness, that if I do not speak the truth, may the Lord God strike me down this very moment. There. What you just heard, ladies and gentlemen, was the Almighty, whose silence roars louder than any mortal's voice. You, sir, are bold and wise, and I thank you for your patronage. Have we no others with the courage, the strength to take control of their life? Perhaps you need to hear from someone who can personally vouch for the miraculous properties of my elixir. Very well, then, that you shall. Allow me to introduce my dear wife, the lovely Mrs. Edna Yoram.
Nice work tonight, Father. Thank you, Silas, for allowing me to speak to this delightful, sophisticated audience. You may not believe this, but I was once a homely, dull dairymaid. I was bored. I was not content. But now, if you'll pardon my candor, I am filled with what can only be referred to as sensuality. My life now is brought me untold pleasures. Taking my word for the effects of this godsend is but one way to validate the veracity of our claims. The other way, the best way, is to use your own discerning judgment. And so, to all the learned men and practical women out there, I appeal to your instincts as well as your intelligence.
How do we know that there tonic is safe?
An excellent question, to which I answer, not only is my husband's compound wildly popular, we've seen no ill effects, which cannot be said for many of the medicines prescribed by those big city doctors. Tell me, good sir, what do you do for a living to earn your daily bread?
I'm a cowman.
Well then, that gives you the right to breed and sell cattle, does it not? It certainly does. A priori, as the learned philosophers say. He has the right to sell his cattle. Don't you agree? And in this great land of ours, shouldn't we all have the right, by way of example, to grow our own food and to sell it at market for the going rate? Shouldn't these same cherished freedoms apply to all medicinal remedies? If the renowned and esteemed Mr. Silas Yoram can treat someone's ill...
I tell you, the man's as crooked as a shepherd's staff. And the snake oil he sells is dangerous in the extreme.
Dangerous? He claims it's a harmonious concoction of nature's finest ingredients.
A loose interpretation, at best. Closer to a bold-faced lie.
How do you mean?
The poppy plant is of nature, yes, and in that regard, Yorm may claim that laudanum comes straight from her womb, but...
Laudanum?
Come now. You've been with us long enough to know. Have you never wondered why we visit Boston so regularly?
We've met with great success in the townships thereabout.
It's for the laudanum, Jerome. We return for the laudanum.
Should he keep that to himself and not help others? Hasn't he the obligation to treat others? Why should only those who call themselves physicians be permitted to tend to the sick? Did not Christ our Lord heal the sick? And what professional license was he issued? By what agency? Now, I ask you, if we passively allow such oppression, what kind of country will this be? What kind of country do you want it to be? Those city doctors don't possess special powers. They're simply following a recipe that's been handed down over time. They throw all of the prescribed ingredients into a pot, stir it up just so, then deliver the mixture for ingestion. Sometimes the medicine works, and other times it doesn't. Everybody's different. If what they serve cures what ails you, well then, you go your merry way. But if it doesn't, you undergo a different regimen, which the doctor once again charges you for. You won't find Mr. Yorm charging you twice. As a man once told me, if my husband's elixir can't cure you, you're not fixable. To the ladies out there, I confide that Mr. Yorm's stimulant did far more than simply relieve my womanly aches and pains, though in that regard it was unparalleled. Beyond that, his wondrous gift brought me radiant skin. It wiped away blemishes, thickened my hair, increased my bosom nearly twofold. Suffice to say, for a woman, there is nothing more intoxicating than the allure of attraction. And when a man spends money on a woman, hard-earned money, it signals a love and brings a warmth nothing I can think of creates in me a greater desire for intimacy. Yet the benefits of my husband's elixir are not the exclusive domain of the female gender. Fine gentlemen, as vouchsafed in an esteemed publication's recent article, this provides concupiscence, or what we more commonly call virility and stamina. But the evening grows long. Who would like to purchase a bottle? You, sir. And you, madam? Splendid. And you, too. One at a time now. Remember, the best among us are well-bred and genteel.
The Chinese offload it straight from the ships into the waiting buggies of the apothecaries. They premix it according to his instructions. The compound may relieve some fretfulness, this much is true, but 'tis a most treacherous nostrum that causes more harm than it cures. For once it takes hold, it seldom lets go. And what Yorm purchases, he further adulterates, adding all manner of vile and noxious ingredients.
Such as?
Whatever he can lay his hands on. Batches are never identical. What he peddles on any given night is anyone's guess. But what is no guess, what is a certainty, is that it may prove deadly.
But in virtually every parish, one or two of the locals vouch for its effects.
Indeed they do. One or two of them. Jerome, you really are blind to the ways of men. They're paid Confederates. At the end of the night, they're rewarded with free bottles for their personal use, which they can dilute and sell after we vacate. In our wake, more often than not, the communities spiral into a pitiful descent. Men become desperate for the drug, women too, and they fall into a life of crime and debauchery.
So why have you done nothing to stop it?
Don't be so presumptuous. You've no idea what actions I have taken or which I have yet to take. All things in their time.
There you are. I've been meaning to speak with you, Jerome. It's come to my attention that you failed to adequately secure the wagon housing the domesticates. As a consequence, some disreputable attempted to filch the goat, grotesque beast that it is. Had not Clarence been as attentive in his duties, we'd have lost it.
I had thought my rope's adequate, but I will use the chains from now on.
As you'd been so instructed, which means that you did not err, but rather were willfully insubordinate. This is how it strikes Mr. Yoram. He's not pleased. I'm not pleased. Perhaps you were distracted by the gypsy's charms? Yes, I've noticed. Few secrets here are kept for long. Your negligence has impacted operations and left me no choice but to speak with you. All our livelihoods are at stake.
I would never jeopardize the troupe. I'm keenly aware of our needs.
You deny interest in the gypsy?
I will not take pains to hide how I feel. I do find Rosa fetching, and seek to be on closer terms with her.
On closer terms. What a quaint expression. Have you reason to believe she reciprocates this desire?
I'm hopeful, and I intend to tell her that I'm well prepared, eager even, to find myself a wife.
A wife? Come now. You're either foolish or a damn liar, and I've never known you to speak an untruth. Deep down, you're not looking for a wife, but a curvaceous bedfellow.
Well, that's not so. I mean, there comes a time in every man's life when he understands the value of a woman's steadying hand. I've arrived at that stage, and I see how partnership would be enriching.
Is that right? Well, you understand some of the rules, credit for that. But do not deny the truth to yourself. What will that get you? I have known men who, in the throes of carnal desire, will offer everything they have. Will you be such a one? Will you too offer up your future?
What I feel for her...
Oh, enough of that. You desire simple fornication. I don't begrudge you that. It is only natural. And trust me when I say I am quite qualified to speak on the matter. Qualification in any walk of life comes from experience. Affairs of the heart and those of the loin are no exception. I'm not usually one for giving advice, but it seems a shame just to let you walk into the lion's den unaware. And by imparting a few cautionary words, maybe I'll gain some redemption in the eyes of the Almighty. But listen well. I'll say it only once. More than that, and it becomes preaching. Save yourself some heartache, young man. Don't overpay for sexual congress. You're a good person, Jerome, for what it's worth. But quite pedestrian in your views. Love is a daydream we peddle ourselves. And marriage? Marriage is a transaction. Believe me, a woman need only have placed before her a handful of options from which to choose. The moment it's clear what is to the greatest advantage, she'll sweep it up and pack it right away in her handbag. We're far more practical in these matters than you men. You let your lust lead you, draw you to places you should not venture, and then afterwards, you clean up the mess. Or don't. But either way, there's fallout. That is the ignorant approach. We women do the opposite. We follow where our best life beckons, then deal with the lust afterwards, in our own way, much less messy. I've said my piece, and am done with it. We all earn our keep through this troupe. Sloppiness or inattention won't be countenanced. Understood? I'm so glad we had this chance to chat.
I can hear you. You may enter.
Thank you for seeing me, Rosa. I know meeting in your private quarters may appear unseemly.
There's nothing unseemly about discretion. I'm paid for my readings, which by their nature are not for public consumption. You arranged to see me for this reason, yes? Sit.
I did, yes. I'm here for my reading, the private reading.
I do not conduct public readings.
No, of course not. I have a multitude of reasons I wanted to speak with you.
Speak with me. When people seek readings, it's the cards who speak to them, through me.
Please, you're making this harder than it needs to be.
What is made harder? The cards are not yet laid.
I'm sorry.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, directly, please. Yes.
You have brought what I asked for?
As instructed, yes. Some hair, a wishbone, juniper berries.
The stone?
Yes, it's in there.
You may pay me afterwards. Satisfactory? Then we begin. What do you seek to know?
Well, it's very personal, you see.
I'm never thought out for matters that are impersonal.
Oh, naturally, it's just that I want you to know, I've no specific question per se, but I want you to I'm hoping you could see that...
Clearly you're unprepared to divulge. Shall we let cards speak for you?
Yes, the cards may speak for me, if they can.
The cards reveal all, if we allow them to. We cannot direct what they have to say, any more than we can direct the wind. There shall be 4 cards. The first will tell of your present life circumstance.
What is it?
The 5 of Wands.
Is that good?
The cards do not know of good and bad. How one responds to what they tell is the only matter of importance.
So what does this card tell?
It tells that unforeseen events enter your life. They demand movement, adaptation.
Unforeseen events. Such as...
The particulars I do not know, but the message. Life is not as simple as it seems, not for any of us, but stasis will not serve you.
Do you mean I should pursue something if I want it?
As the first card spoke of your surroundings, the second reveals your inner condition.
My feelings. Yes, this is what I'd hoped to have revealed.
The world.
What do you make of that? Does it speak to love?
No. The card does not speak to matters of the heart. It tells of imbalance. You're not in alignment. Your experience of affairs differs from those around you.
Well, everyone's experience is personal, and so must be different from others. And when you say affairs, what do you mean exactly?
You're not in synchronization with others.
Well, I try not to start fights and to get along with everybody.
The card speaks to your perceptions. You do not see with clarity the people and events around you. Matters below the true course. People are not who they seem to be.
I see people for who they are. No more or less than anyone else does.
No. You see only what they show. You draw them close, but they are strangers. They know the deceitful way, and sense you are oblivious. The card reminds us that faces veil self-interest, and that attention is diverted by which sparkles.
I'm nobody's fool.
Yet as the light repulses, can any of us tell dusk from dawn? I continue. The Emperor. There is a person who has influence. It is a man. You know this man. You associate with him. He's a part of something larger.
Rosa, that could apply to any one of us. We're all part of the troupe.
The cards reveal insights. My interpretations come from deep within.
I have to say, the cards are not revealing what I'd hoped.
You had no specific question to ask, but how to hope for a specific outcome?
Please, I must speak candidly.
I would not have otherwise.
I came here in the hopes that you might define for yourself my intentions and my sincerity. When I tell you that I long for you, and I...
No.
Rosa, I came here without expectation of anything more than you would hear me out and keep an open mind to my proposal. I know you'll need time, of course, but during that time, allow me to show you, to demonstrate to you what kind of a man, a husband I would make.
What you wish for cannot be.
You place stock in these cards, but not what's told to you by a live person before your very eyes? I will prove myself to you.
It cannot be.
Well, that's for us to decide. Oh, we can make of our lives what we will. I'm advancing. I have a plan, a thoroughly considered plan. In short order, I'll make my way to Chicago. I know of a man there who seeks an investor in a small shoemaker's factory. It's all here in this periodical. It's a booming industry with advances daily in methods and technology. And people will always need shoes. I will work hard, Rosa. Of this you have my word. I will strike my fortune, and when I do, it'll be your fortune too. Our fortune. You'll live in comfort, and I'll provide for you, and you'll have my undying companionship.
There is much you do not understand.
I understand my feelings for you. I understand that we can make a future together. Please consider my proposal. Will you do that? Tell me you'll do that.
There remains a card for your reading. The wheel. What this means to tell, Jerome, is that destiny has been set in motion. Your fate is already decided.
Well, now that I do not believe. Our fate is not decided. If it was, that would mean God was simply toying with us. And what pleasure would he have in that?
I cannot speak to your God's temperament. It matters little if you bemoan your lot or are satisfied with it. Everything transpires as intended.
So what of us?
There is no us. It is impossible. You know nothing of my world. I'm Rome and you're a gorger. That will never change.
I would give you my all, Rosa. I'm a good man.
Rain falls equally upon us all, the good and the bad.
Have you no affection for me?
I'm not like you. I'm harsh, and neither of us may alter what is destined. This sorrow you feel will be short-lived.
Do the cards tell you that too?
I know because I take leave of you soon, and with me go your feelings. They shall dissipate over time. You cannot feel heat from a flame long extinguished.
Leaving? Where are you going? Are you returning to your homeland?
No, that is not possible. I am Marine, and have been cast out. I'm not welcome. I may never return to the Bardos, to my wagon.
I would never cast you out, Rosa. I will take care of you forever.
It would be wise to let go of this dream. Assuredly, as my fate follows me everywhere, so shall my loneliness linger long, as I have many tomorrows. Such is not the case for you.
Rosa Magtorius.
We must end this.
Not the case for me? By that do you mean that I have limited tomorrows, or that my loneliness won't linger long?
Rosa Magtorius. Miss Edna summons the Ludar wench. Her agitation is great, so loiter at your own risk.
Jevois, just what the hell do you want? And get directly to the point. I have no time to poke bogey.
Very well, to the point. After thoughtful consideration, I have come to the conclusion that there is a strong likelihood you may claim membership in the Knights of the Golden Circle. Calm yourself. Hear me out. If that is the case, then perhaps you and I have more in common than either of us had realized.
It is common knowledge that organization no longer exists. Besides, where'd you get that notion?
Come now. Their lingering existence is an open secret, and simple inductive reasoning inform my conclusion. By way of explanation, we make frequent forays into Sangerfield, the home base of the Loomis family, and we both know of the furtive support given the Knights in that rather orthodox enclave. And yet, with the exception of Clarence, we have always been welcome there, and in fact made to feel safe. Because nothing thereabouts transpires without the Loomis' tacit approval. Stands to reason that they allow our troop safe passage. Now, why would they do that? Our presence must serve them in some way. The details are under my concern. However, we can infer that you, Mr. Yorm, are at least a business associate of theirs. Given the protection we received, I'd wager you're on much more familiar terms than that.
You think yourself clever, Chevois? Love to hear yourself talk. But you tread in dangerous territory with this topic. Now either tell me straight away what you're getting at, or leave my sight immediately. Don't make me ask again.
My works have sold well, and by way of commissions you have profited nicely. But there is something which you are not aware of, something which I have kept hidden by design. Know you, sir, that in addition to my own creations, I duplicate the paintings of others and sell them off as my own. When the muse refuses to sing, such exercises prove profitable.
I frankly don't give a rat's ass what you do in your spare time. If you came here today to brag about your ingenuity...
My intention is not to brag, but to... How do you say it? Evince. To lay out for you how I can be of service. You see, my skill replication is not exclusive to oil paintings. After much time and effort, I have mastered the painstaking techniques demanded in the lower profile art of document replication.
Document replication? You're a forger.
A master copyist, if you will. 'Tis a profession that relies upon supreme skills to meet exacting standards. I have honed these skills over many long years and now apply them to a broad range of life's incommodious yet necessary paperwork.
Necessary paperwork?
Currency, land, property, in-house deeds, notes of indebtedness, what have you. And as it pertains to the Loomises and their associates, I offer my services for the creation of such documents. Think on how this may stand them in good stead.
I admit no such relationships to the men you speak of, nor to any organization. But for the sake of argument, should I be so acquainted, what of it?
You are the one who will solicit my services to your acquaintances.
And why would I agree to do that?
You would be remiss not to. These friends of yours would not look kindly upon one who knowingly failed to move the cause forward, much less withheld from them the tools to bring enormous profits and power.
You ask a favor, and in the same breath threaten me?
I neither threaten nor ask favor of you. I propose a simple business transaction. Precisely as I have done with my paintings, I shall provide you a percentage of payments received for the documents they have me create. Naturally, my fee shall not be nominal. For your efforts, nary a drop of sweat shall cross your brow. You need only vouchsafe my talents to Wheeler Loomis. Let him know what I can do for him. For all of them. As an introduction and gesture of good faith, I offer to create passports and charge but half my normal rate. You stand to profit not only by way of percentages you shall draw, but in a broader sense, your beneficence shall ingratiate you in a manner that will be, shall we say, eradicable.
Come again?
The Loomises, and by extension our beloved Knights of the Golden Circle, will be deeply indebted to you. You come to be held in very high esteem, and your influence shall multiply. When the time is right, you may call on your debts whenever and howsoever you choose. I'm sure you can envision the advantages that come with having them in your debt. The dominions they oversee will be at your beck and call. Judges, bankers, officers of the law, men of industry. The possibilities are limitless. Think on it.
The potential is vast.
Boundless, one might say. To get started, I would require only a list of the names of the men and their residences. Nothing else. I already possess all the requisite stamps, ink, and paper.
It merits thoughtful consideration.
But the luxury of time is not ours to enjoy. I have but one caveat. The information must be supplied me before our next stop in the Erie.
Erie? We're due there in 5 days.
My life has reached a crossroad, and there's nothing left to keep me here outside of this arrangement. This is my opportunity to perform crucial services to a cause, our cause, and to enjoy the profits that come with it. Absent an agreement, I have decided to take my leave in Erie, never to return.
I would insist upon a finder's fee and a cut of all payments made to you.
I am amenable to a one-time finder's fee of $20, and will agree to 15 cents on the dollar for all payments received going forward. No more, no less.
And I alone will coordinate all transactions.
Acceptable. I require no personal contact.
Go around me and there'll be hell to pay.
I do not doubt as much.
Why did you wait until now to bring this to me?
Only of late have I felt safe approaching you. My hesitation was not irresolution, but rather precaution. I would not risk exposing the Golden Circle to hostile forces.
You're right to remain guarded. Your deliberation honors us.
There is one other matter that merits attention. I have learned of a threat to our brave brethren. The seamstress girl Elizabeth has taken me into her confidence. She confesses herself to be bitterly opposed to the movement. Beyond that, she has made noise about exposing the source of your elixir, which places you in immediate peril. Consequently, its broader impact affects me.
I will simply send her packing.
Dismissal will further embolden her to alert the authorities. No. What is needed is a permanent solution.
And have you such a solution?
She trusts in me completely. Though not something I relish, I can easily see to it that she is silenced, and remains so forever.
what you propose takes a special breed of man. Not everyone has the stomach for it.
Let us just say that I have never hesitated to do what was needed to safeguard my interests. But make note, Mr. Yorm, should you not agree, then this conversation never took place, and our association comes to an end.
Prudent, calculating, bold. I'd always thought you a pompous highbrow, but you had us all fooled, eh? I've gained enormous regard for you.
Well, sir, it would seem that this opportunity places you at a crossroads as well. Seize this fortuitous circumstance or carry on with your sideshow. You have my terms. I await your answer.
True to his word, Henri delivered the forged passports, indecipherable from the authentic article, and dispatched with Elizabeth. Just days later, Henri himself would disappear. Joram was unperturbed, as he knew the documents he held would be much valued by the Loomises. Almost immediately, other changes befell the troupe. Father Fradaire left to serve as deacon in Blissfield, and Rosa had been run off, accused by Edna of having stolen proceeds from a show. As happens in life, all of the departed had made an appearance, stayed only so long as was called for, then without compunction vanished from the scene. Jerome was left anxious and distressed. His world had been cast asunder.
Who's there? I'm busy? Unless you have an urgent need, return later, after the performance.
You've been expecting me. Now let me in.
You took the necessary precautions?
Goes without saying. Let me in. My presence out here may attract unwanted attention.
You traveled alone?
No one accompanied me, and no one followed. May I come in, goddammit?
Nearly a day late. That's unbecoming in a man.
I'm here now. And I advise you put that knife away. I suffer from nerves and can be a little jumpy.
We should both calm ourselves.
You have what I came for?
The documents are expected momentarily. They've been held in custody by a trustworthy person.
The more hands that touch them, the more prying eyes may look upon them.
We have accounted for that. This person cannot read. They went from the artist's hands to my husband's safekeeping, and there they remained. Because you are late, the decision was made to transfer them this evening to our rooms, where one of us would keep them on our person until delivery to the rightful owner.
Miss Edna, Miss Edna, it's me, Clarence. Miss Edna.
I heard you. You may enter, Clarence. Clarence, dear. Thank you. Have you brought me something?
Yes, Miss Edna. I have Mr. Young gave me.
Don't be shy, Clarence. This is our esteemed visitor.
Oh, here you are.
What else have you there?
It's bus head, near as I can tell. It's pretty strong, too, by the smell of it. I found it along Miss Elizabeth's belongings. Mr. Young told me to bring it over, said to make sure the gentleman here received it at the same time as...
Elizabeth held a bottle of alcohol. Put on a fine act, that one. And oh, what a harrowing tale she did tell. But in the end, she was just another lush. And when you informed Silas, he bade you bring it.
Yes, ma'am. Maybe as a gift or to tie the gentleman over on his long trip home.
How do you know I have a long trip? And no one asked you what you figure. Consider this delivered. Both of them. And so, my business here is over. I'll be off.
A moment, sir. There is another matter of interest, which I will leave to you and my husband to discuss.
You haven't shied away from speaking so far. Why not just tell me this other matter?
The matter is unbefitting a lady's involvement.
What are you? His secretary? Never mind. It's clear to me what you are. And this matter must be damn unsavory to be unbefitting the likes of you. So, where the hell is he?
On stage. In truth, you've made me a tad late to relieve him. Tardiness is not in my character, sir. I am a woman who believes in punctuality, sir. It's reflective of better breeding. Mr. Yoram will be here presently, as you deem best. Wait for him here, or don't. Clarence, you shall escort me to the stage. You may see yourself out.
Edna tells me the documents were safely delivered. Good. And that you're in a rush to depart. That suits me just fine. But you need to know, and I wanted you to hear it from me firsthand. Those documents are but a start, and greater wealth and influence awaits.
If we're satisfied, we'll consider our options. You should know that as well as anyone. Is this what you deemed so important to tell me in person?
And to let you know there's been a casualty of sorts. A person has disappeared. No one of any real consequence, a girl. A known and vocal abolitionist.
How is that of any my concern?
Only insofar as it demonstrates my level of commitment to the cause. I am willing to do whatever the movement demands.
Noted. I can only hope the reformist bitch suffered. Now, if there's nothing else.
Mr. Yoram's wagon is gone. He and Edna up and vanished in the night, leaving most everything but themselves behind. Took with them our hard-earned wages, too. Nearly 10 full days' worth. It gets me to thinking. I've got more than I need to book passage to Chicago, buy into the shoe factory, and secure living quarters for a good long while. With Rosa gone, I've got no prospects for a wife, so there's no one but myself to worry about. And if things go belly up in Chicago, well, I'm healthy. I'll get another job. I've got plenty of money with the whole world still ahead of me. If Rosa was right and destiny is set, then mine appears to be one blessed by divine providence, It's clear I've got so much more than I need. Clarence, over here. Clarence, I'm glad you hadn't left yet. This certainly has been an unexpected turn of events. Seems like we're on our own now.
I'm glad you're still here too, Jerome. I've been looking for you. I was half expecting it, truth be told, so I can't say that I'm shocked. Not really. I said I was disappointed, but I mean my high hopes were let down, and I hadn't had high hopes for much of anything as long as I can remember. Besides, the way I see it is we're always on our own, just in the company of others is all.
Feels like a silent force swept away our lives.
Well, sir, I can't say I see it quite like that. We still have our lives, it's just our livelihoods what's changed. Sort of like trading our coats. Some are fancier than others, but the only ones worth the hill of beans are those that keep a man warm.
You remember I told you I've been saving all my wages?
I do remember. You got big plans. Gonna find yourself a wife and seek a career. It was making shoes, as I recall.
Yes, well, those plans have been shifted a bit. Taking a wife's been put on hold. It wasn't in the cards, I suppose you could say. But I am still planning on buying in at a shoe factory in Chicago. So, there's something I'd like you to have. Here, take it.
Money?
I figured you could use it more than me right about now. Buy yourself one of those warm coats. Winter's right around the corner.
I thank you, but I don't...
Please, I'm offering it to you.
I've never been above charity before, but now I don't need it. Don't want it.
What do you mean?
As the saying goes, I've come into some wealth.
Wealth? How?
From Mr. Henry. Right before he left, he asked me to do some things for him. He paid me right handsomely too, I have to say. And I earned it. It wasn't charity.
I'm sure not, but what did he have you do?
Well, for one, he had me deliver a bottle of bark juice to Miss Edna's tent. She met with the out-of-town man. Had me keep watch, which I did. And as soon as I saw him come riding in, I hurried on over. He was late. Miss Edna didn't like that. She let him know, too. Oh. This. He paid me to give you this. Sure glad I caught you before you left.
So, Henri paid you to deliver a drink to a stranger and an envelope to me?
That's the tall and short of it, yes. I guess I'm like a stubborn delivery mule without the stubbornness. Some jobs pay better than others. My sights are set on Louisville. I'm gonna go see my kin. Seems like the good Lord looked out for you and me both. We must be doing something right in his eyes. You keep that money for now, Jerome. I'm sure in no time you'll find some ways to make good use of it. Good luck in the second city.
You take care, Clarence. And keep that coat buttoned up.
May this letter find you in good health. My disappearance, along with that of Elizabeth, occurred as it had to. It pained me not to share with you my plans in advance. Matters transpired too quickly. Elizabeth is safe and in hiding. By now, you must know of the poisoning.
Poisoning?
If the authorities have not already confronted Yoram, they soon shall. Others, too, will come for him. The dead man was a known associate of Willard Loomis, who killed Magistrate Ratcher. I returned to my betrothed, and we are now married. Molly is her name, Nee Ratcher, Elizabeth's sister. She is heiress to her father's property. Together we will further cultivate the land. She sends warm regards and looks forward to the day you honor our hearth and home with a much welcome stay. I keep a private letterbox in Albany. You may write me there. Specifics are contained below. With sincere affection, Henri Auguste Chavois.
Through the years, I would visit my friend Henri often and cherish the stays dearly. His wife is loving, smart, and angelic, and has blessed him with a large and healthy brood. My suspicions about Elizabeth and Henri's role in that fateful poisoning were never confirmed, and the matter never spoken about. Over time, its importance waned in consequence. When I consider the turn of events and those whose lives crossed mine, there is much I have come to understand. I see now with clarity that matters belie their true course. And we are like the flames of a fire, flashing but for a fleeting, glorious moment before returning to the source of heat and light. There exists a life-sustaining, universal energy that runs through all of us, concealed before our eyes as we live out our moments. And our purpose? We all serve as ancillaries to one another, for one another, functionally serving to merge our prospective circumstances. The role we play is part of a larger and all-encompassing script. We each move the scene forward.